Well, hello everyone. My name's Tim Lee. I'm director and founder of Collaborate MK, and this is one of a series of interviews for members of Collaborate MK with a gold membership option. And today I'm in conversation with Ruth Corkin, who's principal indirect tax at Hillier Hopkins Accountancy. So, hi Ruth, great to see you.
Hi.
Okay. So tell me, Ruth, where did your career start, and what led you to being a tax specialist at Hillier Hopkins?
Okay. Well, I mean, I started as a youth training trainee with Beecham Pharmaceuticals as it was then got a full-time job with them. And then after about 3 years, decided chemistry wasn't for me and joined the local VAT office in Harlow in Essex. Did about 3 years there, visiting businesses, advising them, trying to keep them on the straight and narrow. And then, life changes and I moved to Birmingham and joined Price Waterhouse as it was then. Spent probably another 6 years in consultancy before I settled down, had my family. During that time, also had my own business, and then came back into consultancy in 2008, and I've been doing it ever since.
Wow, it's quite a career, isn't it? With being so involved in tax. So, but yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people will ask you a lot of advice, friends and family, and so on. What should I do here? Very useful. So, at Hillier Hopkins, what services do you offer your clients?
So my team offer anything to do with indirect tax, which is anything that isn't corporate tax or personal tax, so VAT, customs and excise, air passenger duty, insurance premium tax, environmental taxes. The new thing on the block, environmental reporting. So if people have heard of CBAM or the EU deforestation regulations, we advise in that as well. Plastic packaging tax. So we get involved because it's linked to importing and exporting. We get involved in those reporting sort of issues.
See, of course, all those different variables of tax. It's amazing. So, so what are the biggest challenges you face in your role?
Oh, crikey. Usually dealing with HMRC, I have to say. That's the biggest challenge on all levels. On the customs side of it, it's physically doing the declarations and making sure that they go through, that clients can move their goods easily and quickly. On the VAT side of it, there's often software issues with HMRC's MTD system, etc., though that's settled down a bit. On the advisory side, it's just the sheer scale. So somebody will ask me a transaction, about a transaction, and it grows legs like a spider, and you need to consider this. And it's not necessarily VAT. So I can be asked a question by a school, for instance, and I have to know parts of the Education Act in order to be able to advise them, whether their transaction is going to be VATable or not. Very pertinent with the private schools at the moment.
Yes.
And the VAT issues.
Wow.
Or I might need to know what the medical device rules are, or the medicines rules. So not to mention just the pure cross-border. Northern Ireland is a big issue, moving goods to Northern Ireland. Clients sort of trying to do what they used to do pre-Brexit and finding they can't.
Good point.
And usually it's when the goods get stuck that I get involved.
Wow.
So there's quite a few challenges, particularly if it's cross-border.
To say the least. Right. So, and with the new government in place, so are there many changes lined up, or is it wait and see?
I think a lot of it's wait and see. The obvious one is the VAT on private school fees. There are various studies which will tell you it will either earn the Exchequer a fortune or not, and they're both polar opposites. So schools needing to find out just how much of that VAT cost they're going to have to pass on to parents. There's talks around the relationship with the EU, which will obviously affect importing and exporting, and also the Windsor framework for Northern Ireland. There is work in the background going on about simplifying the VAT law anyway, which may churn out things in the background, not necessarily the headline VAT rate, but maybe tinkering around the edges of others.
Right.
There's sort of work on the customs side to have a single customs platform. So there is a lot going on. Regulation of agents, which Hillier Hopkins is one. you know, we're being consulted on that. That's being continued. So I can't see much sort of changing. The you know, the environmental side of it. Will Labour withdraw the proposed CBAM with a carbon border adjustment mechanism for the UK?
Oh.
Nothing been said so far.
No.
And it's on their, you know, sort of environmental agenda. We get involved in biodiversity net gain and nutrient neutrality on the building side of it. There's been nothing on that regarding whether that's going to be withdrawn or replaced or left alone. So there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, I can imagine. Just in a way, sort of let the dust settle, and I'm sure they're just. I'm sure they're just trying to work it all out now.
Yes.
And then let's see what happens in October and so on.
Yeah.
But no, interesting. No, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today, Ruth. Really nice to meet you for the first time. And we'd love to see you at one of our events, because I'd love you to do maybe a talk to update our members and on that really hot subject of the time. So
no, brilliant. That's fine. Happy to do that.
Yeah, nice one. Brilliant. Thank you, Ruth. Thanks for your time. Thank you. Cheers.